Hey guys, today on Keep It About Ball, I'm doing a live Guillotine draft for our new podcast league. I'm going to talk about all the picks, everyone's builds, and of course I'm going to talk about the teams in the end and how everyone did. And we have our new segment, Pick a Card, which goes a little bit better than it did last time. I was also live for the first time while we did a show, while I did a show anyway, so that was cool. So let's go ahead and get into it.
Yeah, you need an initial hole. I don't care if my pants get wet. Where's the lid?
Welcome to Keep It About Ball, bitch.
Just a splash.
Shitbag lizard people.
Bro's QB2 is Aiden O'Connell.
Bucks on Peyton.
Actually, when you add up the pick value, when you crunch numbers, who the fuck's Jennifer?
What's up, guys? Zach here with a little live, I guess. It's not going to be live for you listening to it. But just a live reaction to a Guillotine draft I'm doing right now. We already started, so I'll try and catch up real quick. First pick was Jamar Chase. Number 2, I couldn't really decide who to take. I ended up going Justin Jefferson, really because I've never drafted Justin Jefferson, and I've always wanted to. So I thought, fuck it, here's my chance, I'll do it. And because in a Guillotine league, a good start is really important. And I think with Jordan Addison out, Justin Jefferson really gets fed those first few weeks. It could really help keep me alive, help me to maybe get into position to add to my team and keep going. The third pick, Saquon Barkley, that was an auto pick. Then Bijan Robinson, Jahmyr Gibbs, CeeDee Lamb, Amon-Ra St. Brown. And right now we got Big R on the clock. Looks like that will probably be an auto pick because he is not in the draft room. So on the board, next on the sleeper ADP, anyways, is Derrick Henry. And we got Nakua, Neighbors, Genty, McCaffrey. Man, I'd probably go McCaffrey here personally. That's just me. But, yeah. It'd be pretty sick if everyone was live and picking. But I'm pretty sure. Oh, yeah, we do got Phil Will. He is active, so we're just waiting on this guy. The first auto pick, he is back and active. So, and, yeah. So we're just waiting on this feller here. I'll try to filibuster here for about another good 50 seconds. Let's see, I just got a new message. Yeah. In there. So it looks like with the auto pick, it's probably going to be Derrick Henry with this next pick. So the person following that, Phil Will, I'm going to guess he goes McCaffrey or Neighbors. Maybe Genty. I could also see Nico Collins potentially too. I should probably be building out a draft room, or a draft queue, I should say, because I am just going into this, no prep, just kind of free winging it. And you know what, I might just fucking do that the whole way. Add that guy at Big R. You holding at the draft, Playboy, but Sleeper won't let me add you for some reason. Everyone else is active though, and there goes Ashton Genty, Puka Nakua. Ashton Genty was the auto pick, then Puka, then Malik Neighbors. Next up, we got Z11. He takes Derrick Henry. We got Mississippi Piracy, friend of the OG podcast league. He's on the clock and active, so hopefully shouldn't take too long. Is Terry McLaurin? Okay, I was about to say, no way is he next in ADP. That's insane. I'm not real big on this draft position that I'm at. I'm picking number 2. I don't really like that. Gonna be not a ton of dudes I really want coming back around at the end. Being a Guillotine league, I really would like to lock up like a high-end quarterback at the beginning of the year so that I'm not fighting waivers to get it. So I am thinking about Josh Allen or Lamar. Who's got the better first couple weeks schedule? Looking at Josh Allen, he's got Baltimore, the Jets, Miami, and New Orleans. The Jets could be kind of tough. Baltimore could be kind of tough. Those other 2 games should be pretty nice, though. What's Lamar looking like first 4 weeks? Obviously, he's got Buffalo week 1, then Cleveland, Detroit, Kansas City. Yeah, I don't want Lamar. I think I'd probably go Josh Allen there. Or if there's a nice player available, I might try and wait another round for Because I guess I'll have another pick coming right back around. So I might go skill position, then like take, then maybe go quarterback here. That's what I'll probably do. I'll probably go skill position, and then on the short turn, go quarterback with one of the high end guys. What's Jaden Daniels' schedule looking like to start the year? Let's see. He's got the Giants, the Packers, the Raiders, and the Falcons. That's actually really nice. But he does have weapon concerns. I have a lot of questions about the holdout with Terry McLaurin. Yeah, and I'm not buying into Bill because he beat up on the Bengals' second string people. Their first string is barely a preseason roster. So, yeah, I'm probably. What's Jalen Hurts' schedule like? I wouldn't take him that early. I don't think. I'd probably try to wait another long turn for him to come around. But that's Dallas, Kansas City, Rams, Tampa Bay. Yeah, I think Jaden's got the most favorable schedule, so I think I'll probably look at going with him. All right, Z11 on the clock. Let's catch back up on the picks. After Derrick Henry went with Z11 last time, Christian McCaffrey went to Mississippi Piracy, then Nico Collins, then WAP doubled up on Brian Thomas and A.J. Brown. Then went Jonathan Taylor and Bucky Irving, and Devon Achane just went. Next up, we got Jeremy on the clock. Let's see. Big R went ahead and turned his auto pick on, so at least it won't be a long draft. It'll be picking quick. And honestly, out of a 14-team league of randoms, just one guy on auto draft for a free league, I'll take it, honestly. I'm not going to complain, especially since he got it turned on pretty early. That or the app turned it on for him. Shout out to the app. That was it. That last pick was Josh Jacobs, then Drake London, Josh Allen's the first quarterback off the board, so obviously not taking him. Lucas, friend of the program for real. In just about every league I've started since the ZBR League is in the Dynasty League, is in this league, obviously the ZBR League. We got him in 3 leagues, and really happy to have him. That dude goes to war for us. We appreciate that. Kyron Williams, nice pick. Starting with Amon-Ra and Kyron. That's not a bad 1-2 punch right there. You get a good quarterback on the next turn. That's could be a really good roster. He generally drafts pretty well. Yeah. Next up, we got Supa, who just left the draft room. I'm sure he's going to do a little quick research. Nothing wrong with that. So who are we looking at next here? Brock Bowers is a thought if he's still there. That is a thought. Get that position just like locked up. But I have questions about that offense. I know it's going to go through him, but it still seems sketchy. And there goes Lamar with the next pick. A little bit of a quarterback run going here. Maybe a little early. There goes Brock Bowers, so not taking him. Okay. So the Brock Bowers team started with Brock Bowers and Jahmyr Gibbs. That's if he gets some nice receivers, that's going to be a tough team. CeeDee Lamb and Lamar Jackson for the Lamar Jackson owner. That's a nice start. Then we got Ashton Genty and Josh Allen. Phil Will with Puka Nacua and Drake London. I'm not going to lie. I don't like that for your first 2 picks personally. Then Malik Neighbors and Josh Jacobs. That's not terrible. I'd maybe like to do a little better. Derrick Henry and Devon Achane. McCaffrey and Irving. Nico Collins and Jonathan Taylor. I like that start. And I like the McCaffrey and Irving start too. And then Brian Thomas and A.J. Brown. That's not bad either. Last pick was Alvin Kamara. So that manager starting Bijan Robinson and Alvin Kamara. I don't know if I would have taken Kamara that high personally. Quite with the 211. I guess that's not bad. 211. Yeah, late second. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that's actually pretty fair. Never mind. I take that back. So right now, probably looking at, I think, like Chase Brown, maybe Trey McBride, Ladd McConkey's right there. I don't like any of these receivers really over those guys. So I think I got to go with McConkey, McBride. Oh, T. Higgins is right there. Who was that last pick? Chase Brown, so I'm not taking him. That's whack. No running back build. Okay. 0 RB. That's what it's looking like it's shaping out to be here. So we've got Jefferson and McConkey, or Jefferson and Higgins would be a nice super 1-2 punch. And I think I can get Daniels coming back around. You know what? I would take McConkey or Higgins, so I'm going to go ahead and take Daniels so that I get him. And then if I have to pick between one of those two, I'll pick between one of those two. And if I just have to take one, that's fine. I will just take McConkey or Higgins. McBride's still staring at me right there. That's my boy, though. But I have him in so many leagues. I don't want to get overexposed to him. Much to think about. Goldfinger Mark is on the clock. It does not appear that he is in the draft room. Okay. If we get this other phone charged up here, I'm going to try to go live on Twitter. Just kind of respond to the rest of this draft that way, and then record the rest of the pod that other way. Yeah. Blah, blah, blah. So, that would be sweet. That would be very sweet. All right, who's Goldfinger taking? He is in the draft room. He's looking at it. Let's see here. Going to be a little sound quality right here. Sorry about that, thud. Let's go ahead and adjust our seat here. Switch you on over. All right, who'd he take? Ladd McConkey. Okay. So let's hope he doesn't double up on T here. I'd really like to... Jamar Chase and Ladd McConkey, that's a nice start. I wonder if he'll go 3 receivers to start. It's only a 2-receiver build, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 2 receivers, 2 flex. Yeah, so for listeners, we're doing 2 receiver, 2 flex, no tight end premium, pretty standard league. He goes with Trey McBride. So I believe the move here is T. Higgins. All right, and I'm okay with that start. Justin Jefferson, Jaden Daniels, and T. Higgins to start. I feel really good about my receivers right now. I feel great about them, actually. A lot of my quarterback, too. Let's see who we got running backs coming back around. Because at this point, I'm not getting Brock. I'm not getting Trey. I'm not going to draft receiver. I'm not going to draft a tight end until late, probably. Maybe if Kittle comes back around, and depending on who's there, we'll see. Netton, Jackson Smith, and Jigba going at the 3-3. Okay, let's look at the running backs still available. James Cook, Breece Hall, Omarion Hampton, Kenneth Walker, Chuba Hubbard, James Conner, David Montgomery, and Travion Henderson. I'm going to say the 2 I would really like to target within there are going to be Chuba Hubbard and Travion Henderson. If both of those guys could come back to me on the next turn, I think those would probably be my picks. Isaiah Pacheco is right below Travion Henderson right there. And I would actually probably not quite take him that high. Probably what are we going to be at? The 4-5 turn? Yeah, come back around. I'd probably wait till 6 or 7, but he's going to be tempting. I do think there's a really good chance for a bounce back here. I'm not buying into Brashard, Elijah Mitchell. I'm not buying into all that. All right, got a couple picks going here. Tyreek Hill and then Jalen Hurts going off the board. I think I'll save to start going through some of these teams again and look at their builds. We'll do that about I'd say probably round 5. I think that's probably fair. So let's see. Beyond running back, so we got Chuba, Trevion. Man, I really like Kenneth, but I'm not spending that draft capital. I'm not taking him that high. And I really like to. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and add James Conner into that group. I would consider taking him there at that point. Tony Pollard is down there. I'd maybe try and get him around the next turn. Omarion Hampton going after Jalen Hurts. And Joe Mixon, I actually misspoke his name, but I would like to mention him a little bit, especially before maybe that gets charged up and I go live. I think he's a really good. The way his ADP has just fallen, if you can get him in like round 7, 8, maybe even 9 if you're lucky, that could be such an insane steal. And if you're taking him in the ninth round, ninth round, you're not really taking a lot of risk with that either. At that point, you're kind of just adding depth guys, and I wouldn't quite say you're at the point of making dart throws, but you're getting close. And for that, I definitely think he would be a great pick in that range, because you look at some of the other guys that are in the range right there. Well, actually, with his current ADP, I'd actually probably take some of these guys ahead of him. DeAndre Swift, Tony Pollard are right there. I don't know if I'd take Aaron Jones ahead of him. Maybe in a Guillotine league. In a Guillotine league, I guess Joe Mixon actually, 8th or 9th round, he should not be getting drafted. He should be a very late round, because you don't know when he's actually going to help you. After Omarion Hampton, George Kittle, and James Cook coming off the board, we are at the 3-9 pick. This is a 14-team draft. Going how many rounds? 15? Okay. Marvin Harrison there after James Cook. Garrett Wilson. That's a little high. I have him in HDP, as many frequent listeners might know, and I am... honestly, I'm starting to get some cold feet on Garrett Wilson. I'm getting a little scared. They're talking about... Justin Fields is talking about, oh, yeah, I don't mind if I only throw the ball 8 times a game. Yeah, that's cool with me. I think that's cool with all of us. That's not cool with me. What the fuck? I don't think that's cool with most fantasy people. So let's not do that. Let's not do that. Get this bitch plugged in over here. Might make our transition a bit easier. All right, a few picks to catch up on here. So after Garrett Wilson comes Mike Evans with an auto pick. The guy was active, so I don't know if he's just setting up his queue and got his board set up and letting it run. If he is, respect for being that prepared. Mike Evans, Breece Hall, Joe Burrow goes off the board, and we are at the last pick of the 3rd round. We got Wap here about to double up on picks. Let's see what he goes with. Patrick Mahomes, okay, getting his quarterback out the way. And after he reads off his pick here, as these teams go, I'll start trying to read off where they're at, 4 players through. And probably going to end up taking a break here soon, because we're getting charged up on the other thing. And I'm going to try to switch up and go live over on Twitter. If you don't follow us on Twitter, it'll be too late to watch this when you're listening to the pod. Go follow us on Twitter at KeepItAboutBall. Okay, so WAP has got Brian Thomas Jr., A.J. Brown, Patrick Mahomes, Kenneth Walker. The next team has Nico Collins, Jonathan Taylor, Joe Burrow, and DK Metcalf. Mississippi Piracy has Christian McCaffrey, Bucky Irving, Breece Hall, and Bo Nix. I wouldn't have taken Breece at Hall, but that's not a bad build. I like the running backs, and Bo Nix in the 4th isn't terrible with where the quarterbacks are going. The next team is Derrick Henry, Devon Achane, Mike Evans, and Cortland Sutton. That's a very, very, very volatile roster. Derrick Henry, obviously, with the age. Devon Achane dealing with the injury, similar type of injury to what McCaffrey had last year. Mike Evans, similar with Henry, age, plus that room's getting kind of crowded. Cortland Sutton, I like, but it's not great. Devontae. Okay, so the next team is Malik Neighbors, Josh Jacobs, Garrett Wilson, Devontae Adams. Not a bad start. I don't hate that. Dang it, Chuba Hubbard goes off the board. Dang it, Phil Will. That's Puka Nacua, Drake London, Marvin Harrison, and Chuba Hubbard for Phil Will. Then the auto draft team is at Ashton Genty, Josh Allen, James Cook, and Terry McLaurin. And we have, of course, friend of the show, Lucas on the clock. That's a little bit of an overpay, in my opinion, for Terry McLaurin. I would, especially in a Guillotine league, that's actually pretty crazy, because we don't know if he's going to be playing week 1. We don't know what's going on there, so I really don't like that pick. So let's see who Lucas has to pick here. I'm going to try and get set up so we can... Oh, he took Travion. Both my running backs are gone, man. Fuck y'all. Ah, damn it. Okay. That sucks. So what are we going to pivot to? We got James Conner left here. What do we got left for running backs now? We still got a few more picks ahead of us, too. This is going to be some pretty slim pickings at running back, I can already tell you. We might be looking at David Montgomery at RB1. I might end up having to take Isaiah Pacheco here and then maybe trying to hope to get a guy like Pollard. I might try to go Pacheco and Pollard. David Montgomery going out the board, so he's not going to be RB1. All right, going to take a quick break here and switch on over. All right, not really much of a break. I just had to switch record on a couple of different things. I'm going to go ahead and get this set up before I go live. So, yeah, David Montgomery going there, Travion Henderson, Chuba Hubbard's off the board, Tedero McMillan. Okay, we weren't really looking at him, so that's nice to see. Okay. Let's catch up on some of these teams. Actually, let's do that once we get live. James Conner. Gosh, dang it. We are getting cooked. All right. Can we go live? How do you do that? Okay. There we go. All right, we are live. Sorry for anyone watching me pick. We are live. Okay, so I'm on the clock here, getting killed on these running backs here. James Conner's gone, David Montgomery, Travion Henderson, all three of the guys I wanted to look at the running back spot taken right before me. I really don't want to take Isaiah Pacheco this early, but I almost feel like I have to. But DeAndre Swift and Tony Pollard are still there. Who else do we have available? Rashee Rice, I'm not drafting him. Devontae Smith, I might go Devontae Smith here, actually. And have just at least my we're gonna go Devontae Smith. George Pickens is still available. Zay Flowers, we're gonna go Devontae Smith. He is off the board. So if you were listening on the pod, kind of going through these teams, catching everyone up on where they are at so far. We have, where was I when we left off? I believe we were at the auto draft team, which is Ashton Genty, Josh Allen, James Cook, and Terry McLaurin through 4 rounds. Then friend of the show, Lucas, is at Amon-Ra St. Brown, Kyron Williams, George Kittle, and Travion Henderson. Very nice start, honestly. I like that a lot. Got a couple of good backs. Got a lockdown receiver, a number 1 receiver. And you got George Kittle, who's got a chance to, especially at the beginning of the year, very easily could be tight end 1. Very, very easy. I think actually most people are predicting that at this point. Would not be surprised if he is. Then after that, we have a team with CeeDee Lamb, Lamar Jackson, Omarion Hampton, and David Montgomery going kind of early, ahead of a guy like James Conner, Isaiah Pacheco, Tony Pollard. I think that's kind of bold, especially in a Guillotine league. Pretty interesting. Next team is off to a great start. I like it a lot. Jahmyr Gibbs, Brock Bowers, Jalen Hurts, and Tedero McMillan. I think Ted's got a good chance to be a true Alpha X there this year. At least kind of similar. I'm not saying as good as Malik Neighbors last year, but type vibe where even if the offense does end up like regressing and being bad, he's going to be so good and get so many targets that he's still going to be great for fantasy. And then obviously the other three, Jahmyr, Brock, and Jalen, enough said about them. That's just a great start. Friend of the podcast league, Dev, his start is Bijan, Alvin Kamara, Tyreek Hill, and James Conner. Really kind of cucking me on James Conner right there. Not a bad start. I don't know if I like Alvin and Kamara that early. I am on the clock again. We are at Steph. He is also in the podcast league. He has drafted Saquon, Chase Brown, JSN, and DJ Moore. Pretty nice start. I like that running back pairing. I think that's a pretty good solid start. He can find a quarterback later, not bad. And my 4-man start is Jefferson, Daniels, T. Higgins, and Devontae Smith. I am on the clock. The first team to 5 players is Goldfinger Mark, friend of the podcast league, member of, and he has Jamar Chase, Lad McConkey, Trey McBride, RJ Harvey, and George Pickens. Very nice start. Definitely need to get a running back here, or else we're just going to end up being cooked. And it's between Pacheco, Swift, and Pollard's gone? No, he's not there. Okay, well, Pollard's down there. I think I'm going to go Swift. I think he's got the upside. We'll see what happens. Hopefully, even if Caleb's not playing well, doing a lot of, check downs, dump offs. One of my favorite stats this offseason per Heath Cummings from Fantasy Football Today. DeAndre Swift, and I believe it's PPR, has never finished below RB2. He's always been a top 24 running back, and that's just an awesome floor. And if I can get that after starting out with, 3 receivers and one of the top quarterbacks, I'm going to take that and then hope that a guy like Pollard's not getting back around, Pacheco's not getting back around. I don't know what Judkins is still doing mixed into this ADP at this high. Tyrone Tracy, Travis Etienne, I'm going to go ahead and mark them down. That's probably who I would start looking at running back on the next come around, and I believe that would be around 6 and 7 when I'm picking at the number 2 spot. So get pretty much back-to-back picks, pretty close, but not quite. Yeah, I think probably who's going to be available right there. A lot of good stuff coming out about Tracy so far in camp. Cam Scatabo hurt, not worried about Devin Singletary. And honestly, if he's playing any kind of well, this coaching staff is going to do anything they can to win. Rashee Rice going this early in a Guillotine League, that's crazy. So let's get a look at this team with Rashee Rice. Okay, well, actually, this is the team that had a great start, so I don't hate that because he might be able to survive. I don't know. That suspension, I don't even think that suspension's set in stone yet, is it? Yeah, I don't know. I think that's way too early for Rice. I don't think in a Guillotine League right now with the uncertainty around his suspension, with some of the guys that are still available. Yeah, yikes. So I'll catch everyone back up on who's come off since I took Devontae Smith. That was R.J. Harvey. George Pickens is who Goldfinger Mark doubled up on. I took DeAndre Swift. Then Baker Mayfield goes off. Jamison Williams we're to Rashee Rice. And then there goes Sam Laporta here. Up next is, once again, friend of the show, Lucas. I wonder who he's going to take. He has Amon-Ra St. Brown, Kyron, George, and Trevion so far. I don't think he's going to go quarterback here. I feel like Zay Flowers would make sense. He's already got the tight end, right? Yeah, he's got Kittle. So I feel like Zay Flowers would make sense. Maybe Xavier Worthy. Xavier Worthy actually would make a ton of sense with the Rashee Rice suspension. Probably still, who knows what's going to happen with all that. But he goes Travis Hunter. Very interesting. He probably could have waited on that, but, you got to go get your guys. And I think he's pretty high on Hunter. Me and Reed were kind of talking some shit on Hunter the other day in some of the league chats, and Lucas came to his defense a little bit. But after Sam Laporta, Travis Hunter, there goes Isaiah Pacheco, as I thought, and Xavier Worthy, who I think should have, in a Guillotine League like this, 100% have been the first Chiefs receiver off the board. And the first Chiefs pass catcher, too. Travis Kelce, all negative opinions I have about him aside, probably wouldn't take him until close. In a 14-team league like this, probably looking at the 8 or 9 round. But if we're looking at like a standard 12-team league, I'm not touching him that early. Probably looking at a double-digit round. And that's like if I do a 0 tight end build. If I do a 0 tight end build and decide to go to him late, I actually feel pretty happy with that because he could fall into a lot of touchdowns this year, and especially at the beginning of the year. Perhaps in actually a tight end premium league, I might look at him with what's going on with Rashee Rice. He could end up having some really nice value. But after Xavier Worthy goes Kyler Murray and Zay Flowers. I was kind of thinking about Zay. I kind of like the Kyler pick. The Kyler team is looking at Malik Neighbors, Josh Jacobs, Garrett Wilson. I thought that was an early pick, like I said. Devontae Adams and Kyler Murray. Aside from Malik, I just don't see a ton of upside on that team. But holy floor, that team should at minimum be hanging around a while. If that were a redraft team, I would actually love that so far. But for a Guillotine, I suppose it is redraft in a way. But you get in a standard league, I love that. But in Guillotine, I don't know if I like that because I just don't know if I see the upside there with Garrett Wilson, with Josh Jacobs, and some of these other guys. But going after those guys is Chris Olave, Travis Kelce. He's not sneaking anywhere. And then WAP is on the clock, about to double up with some picks. So let's look at the Travis Kelce team. He started out Nico Collins, Jonathan Taylor, Joe Burrow, DK Metcalf, and now Travis Kelce. That's not a bad start. He's certainly covering all his bases. If I had to guess, I think this guy's probably going for a very positional-based draft. Looking at, okay, I want to go receiver, running back, quarterback, got my 3. I want to get another receiver, then I want to go tight end kind of deal. That's kind of the impression I'm getting from right there. And I would say kind of similar to the team we were just talking about with the limited upside. Actually, I take that back. I think this team could be pretty boom-bust. Travis Kelce, I already said why I think he could be a little boom-bust. I think he'll have spike weeks and have some down weeks. DK Metcalf, who knows? If A-Rod latches onto him and feeds him like he does, like he was feeding Garrett Wilson last year, then, I mean, he's going to be a pretty solid wide receiver too. But that's just a big if, man. And that's I don't know if I buy it. Joe Burrow, he's got the weapons, and that defense is going to be ass. They're going to be in shootouts every week. There's actually a shit ton of upside with Joe Burrow, I think. He's got a really good chance, I think, to finish QB1 again. Jonathan Taylor, I mean, he showed you in the fantasy championship last year. He's got the upside. Fucking piece of shit. And then Nico Collins. I mean, I don't know if anyone, when they think of Nico Collins, wow, Caleb Johnson already. That's crazy. I guess he's not scared of a little some bad stuff in the preseason. He's not letting the preseason scare him off. And I low key respect that. Nico Collins, as I was saying though, I don't think he screams upside, but just super consistent with a very high floor. And I wouldn't say limited upside, but he's not Mr. Upside. He's not Jefferson, CD, or at least we don't think about him like that. I suppose he absolutely could be. He is an absolute machine. So WAP going with Caleb Johnson with his first pick at the 5 pick here, or his last pick in the last pick in the 5th round, and now he's about to start the 6th round. I really think he probably could have hung out a little longer. I don't know if anyone was actually going to take him right there. I'm glad to see him as a running back getting off the board, though, and leaving Tracy and Etienne on the board. I'm actually very thrilled to see that. Joe Mixon still hanging around. Would love to see him slip another turnaround. If I could snag him then, I'd really doubt it. But that is a point where I'd maybe start considering him. Because I think at minimum, we probably miss maybe like a game or two. Get right. Oh, he's still on the PUP list. Is he set to could begin season on PUP? Okay, I don't think he's guaranteed to miss the 4 games until he actually begins the season on PUP, if I'm not mistaken. So he's still good and not going to miss all 4. WAP really burning out these fucking draft clocks, dude, bro. I'm trying to fucking keep this content going, bro. Like, make your pick, bro. Like, come on. Like, bro, I'll just type bro in the chat. I'll just leave it at that. Like, let's go. Come on. What are we doing? Running out the clock. I'm going to ask, what are we running out? All right. he doubles up with Caleb Johnson and Jalen Waddle. Actually, Jalen Waddle, that could be, I think a lot of people are sleeping on him. Still a sleeper as of now. Then goes Aaron Jones, Stephon Diggs, TJ Hawkinson. Jeremy is on the clock, and he is in the draft room, thank God. Let's see what he going. He is the Kyler Murray team we were just discussing. All right, so let's look at WAP's team. We were just kind of talking about him. Mark Andrews going there, putting Phil Will on the clock. WAP's team, he started out Brian Thomas, A.J. Brown, Patrick Mahomes, Kenneth Walker. Really like that start. And then Caleb Johnson, I don't know. I don't know about all that. And then Jalen Waddle, though, I love him for your wide receiver 3, snagging him right there. I think that's a great pick. This team has a shit ton of upside. A.J. Brown is a guy that screams upside to me. Brian Thomas is a guy that screams upside to me. Kenneth Walker screams upside to me. Jalen Waddle isn't screaming upside to me, but he's doing like the wannabe like metal singer thing where he's like, "Wah!" like halfway screaming but not actually screaming. He's doing that with upside for me. And Patrick Mahomes is just rock. I was about to say rock solid, but I'm pause. Whoa, let's rewind that back. Just about as sturdy of a rock as you can get for a fantasy quarterback. And could have some. I think could have a crazy year this year if Rashee Rice is on the fucking field, and that's a major if. And I really hope that doesn't. Even as a Chiefs hater, I really hope that doesn't shape out to be the theme of his career. Am I on the clock here? Nope, but I'm getting close. And Tracy and ETN both still on the clock. Only one guy ahead of me, so I like that. We got our three receivers. Let's go ahead and run through our team real quick before I make our pick. Started with Justin Jefferson, Jaden Daniels, T. Higgins, Devontae Smith, DeAndre Swift. Feeling really happy with that receiver room. Obviously feeling really happy with my quarterback. Guillotine league. I'm not really looking at tons of backups. So I really just want to get this starting lineup filled out. And really, if I could double up with Tracy and Etienne here, I would feel pretty happy. Who do we have at wide receiver available? Yeah, I think that's probably what I would do. We got Jacoby Myers, who I don't hate at this range, but not when I've already drafted the three receivers I have. I don't think that makes a ton of sense. And I do kind of like the running backs over him barely, maybe right about the same range. But then after that, you're looking at Deebo Samuel. I would probably consider him on the come around in round 8 if I could. That would actually be pretty sweet because he's obviously going to get some handoffs out the backfield. Everyone's getting so hyped up about Bill, like Deebo Samuel got the first carry of the game. I think that's worth noting. And as far as Bill goes, not to get off topic, I wouldn't count on Brian Robinson getting traded. He might get cut, but that's your best bet. And then even still, it's going to be a committee. I just don't get too excited. I can't stress enough about him carving up the Bengals' like second-team defense because their first-team defense is a practice squad. All right. But after Deebo Samuel available right there, we got Cooper Kupp, Khalil Shakir, Chris Godwin, Matthew Golden. I definitely would rather have Tyrone Tracy and Travis Etienne over them. Also at running back still available, Brian Robinson, the aforementioned. Joe Mixon, of course, still there. Jaylen Warren probably should have been taken ahead of, and I would love for him to sneak back around. Probably should have been taken ahead of Caleb Johnson. I think that's a little crazy. And both my guys are here, so if we can double up, we're going to try and double up with Tyrone Tracy and Travis Etienne. I'm just going to do a little due diligence and kind of go through the rest of these players here and make sure I don't want to take anyone over it. Evan Ingram, no. Already talked about those receivers. Njoku, no. Goff, no. And then we're looking at Tracy, Tyler Warren, Khalil Shakir, and Travis Etienne. I'm going to try and go Tracy and Etienne here. Music to my ears that not tootin'. Drawing a blank on Tank Bigsby. Love to hear that he's maybe a trade candidate. Maybe the odd man out there that they like Tootin. That's their guy. Liam Cohen drafted him. But love to hear that Etienne's the guy. And damn it, a Goldfinger mark here, doubling up on the running backs. Great picks, man. Jaylen Warren's a very smart pick right there and does take Travis Etienne as well. So now we're going to have to pivot here. Maybe looking at Jacoby Myers, honestly, to fill out that last flex spot right there. Brian Robinson, no. Cooper Kupp. Actually, I don't hate Cooper Kupp this year, but I just have questions about the quarterback this year. I don't think he's washed. I think he had a bad 3 games at the end of last year, but up until then, he was still really good last year. Ignore that call. Hope that didn't interrupt the stream too badly. Oh. Let me ignore this call real quick. Hopefully we can not interrupt the stream. Okay, are we back on? Well, we'll give it a second and see. Okay, it ended itself. Okay, so we will go ahead and make this pick live, or just on the pod, not live. Oh, fuck me. I don't know who to go here. I guess I'll go Jacoby Myers. Yeah, because I don't know who to go, and I don't want to run out the clock. I should have gone Debo. Just Def going with the auto pick Brian Robinson after that. Don't like that. Don't like that at all.
All right, we're live. Sorry for anyone.
I'm going to try to get back live here. Let's go to Do Not Disturb first. Nope, I don't want to start a space. I want to start a live. Dang it. Hush! Oh, got the dogs out there. Fucking whining and stuff, whatnot. Hush! Damn tweakers. Alright, and we are back live. At least getting there. So following the Brian Robinson auto pick, that's pretty gross with all the stuff going on with him. I don't think he's going anywhere necessarily, but that doesn't mean I would want him on my fantasy team, especially not in the 7th round, even of a 14-team league. Tyler Warren going after that. His first tight end on the team, so I don't hate that. First tight end. Emeka Ibuka, actually kind of a steal. Evan Ingram, Ricky Pearsall, Deebo Samuel going off to the auto draft team. That's a big R. Big R auto drafting today. And Njoku goes off the board. Probably helps that the Flacco news coming out that he is the starter there. I think everyone's probably facing the wrong way. That's why it's all blurry. We got the hay and stuff on the ground for the rabbit. Okay. So, after Njoku, we got Cooper Kupp going off the board. Very nice pick. Jared Goff, is that his first tight end? Yeah, that makes sense. Khalil Shakir. All right, we're at Mateo, and I forget who he was in our league last year. He was in the podcast league last year. I can't remember his team name, though. And he has not said a team name in here yet. And then we'll be doubling up with WAP. So let's do a little 7-round review of the, I suppose what we'll call the official Keep It About Ball Guillotine roster. Justin Jefferson, Jaden Daniels, T. Higgins, Devontae Smith, DeAndre Swift, Tyron Tracy, and Jacoby Myers. Starting lineups filled out aside from the tight end. Probably going to look at Hunter Henry here. Probably keep an eye out for him creeping up in ADP. Most people in this draft seem to be following the sleeper ADP, so I feel like I can kind of wait. How far down is he? Wow, he's below the likes of Zach Ertz and Isaiah Likely. Yeah, I'm going to get an absolute steal on him. Brenton Strange down there too. I might try and double up on tight end late on Hunter Henry and Brenton Strange and just ride those two out because I think those could be some real... Wow. I cannot believe they're down that far. Looking at this ADP, that's crazy. After Khalil Shakir, we got Jawan Jennings going. Not a bad pick, especially, I'm going to say it a million more times, in a guillotine league. It could be off for a hot start before Ayuk gets back. Even if Ayuk doesn't come back, like 2023 form, still he's going to take some targets away and just make things annoying for fantasy, and especially for Jawan Jennings, I think. We got WAP here about to double up on some picks. He was just in the draft room. It did just kind of vanish out now. But back to our lineup, looking pretty good. Probably going to punt, kicker, and defense. Actually, no. It's a guillotine league, so no, I'm not. Actually, I'm not going to do that. Actually, probably going to kind of go defenses kind of early. Yeah, probably going to go defense and kicker kind of early. Probably going to try to sneak up on people with those. Being a guillotine league and all, I'd rather lock up the best defense, the best kicker, and then not have to worry about trying, because I think everyone wants to do waivers on here, which I think is a little weird for a guillotine league. I think Fab would make a little more sense, but I suppose waivers work, and then that way everyone doesn't go blow all their Fab in the first 2 weeks, and then we got everyone crying about, well, you spent my money, win. Like, well, that's your own dumbass fault, but I'd rather not deal with that. Commissioning like 4 leagues this year, 4 or 5 leagues, and that is quite a bit. Should probably turn that way and get CBS Sports out the background. That's a trademark waiting to happen. Matthew Golden going off the board with Colston Loveland. That's who Wap doubled up on there. Let's take a look at Wap's team again. I like talking about Wap. He's got, and it's not WAP, it's WAP. I'm gonna clarify. We're not hood rats. We got Brian Thomas, AJ Brown, Patrick Mahomes, Kenneth Walker, Caleb Johnson, Jalen Waddle, Colston Loveland, and Matthew Golden. The first team to 8 players here, starting us off in the 8th round. Jonnu Smith, the second pick here. His second tight end. He also has Travis Kelce here. The more these teams here at the end are shaping out, I'm not liking them so much. Brandon Ayuk goes off the board. There goes the first defense with an auto pick, the Eagles. So that kind of puts me into a spot. I think I'm going to do the same. I like my starters. Probably going to go Broncos defense here if they are available. Probably going Broncos defense because I don't want to get caught fishing for a defense late in the year. I would just like to have an elite one to start the year. And at this point, I'll read off some of the players that are available. I don't to start week 1, especially with this with a starting lineup set the way mine is, and I'm very happy with it. Besides tight end, and I've already made it clear I'm waiting on that. Besides that, we're the top players according to Sleeper ADP, which you take that with a grain of salt. But I think most people follow that more than they'd probably like to admit. Is Joe Mixon still sitting there at the top? Probably that's because his previous ADP throughout the offseason. Chris Godwin, probably same. Cam Scatterbo, probably a little bit of the same, but probably not as much as the other two. Then we're looking at Justin Herbert, Jaden Reed. Broncos defense is right there. Holy shit, actually. Oh, nobody please take them. Oh my gosh, I'm going to actually sweat this one. Then we got Javonte Williams, who is... we'll have to look and see who all the defenses are that are available. Should only be one off the board, and we'll go look at them and talk about them. Then we're looking at Josh Downs, not touching indie pass catchers personally. J.K. Dobbins, Kincaid, Tucker Kraft, not investing in tight end necessarily. Zach Charbonnet, backup running back. Defense, Dak Prescott, that's the Steelers defense. C.J. Stroud, Jaden Higgins. So we're getting into like depth guys anyways. I really hope this Broncos defense slips to me somehow. I think it would be a mistake of Guillotine drafters to let that happen because all these teams ahead of me do have their team filled out, or they should have, in theory, their starting lineup filled out. Of course, some of them draft 2 tight end. I don't think anyone's gone 2 quarterback yet in the league. No. But we do have a 2 tight end team, so that's there. Time's up for Phil Will. He got turned on to auto. He takes Justin Herbert, then Cam Scatterbo goes off the clock. I love that. Don't like Cam Scatterbo that early, but that's what you get for auto picking. Phil Will tapping in just after his pick. But he doesn't have a quarterback, so going with Justin Herbert, I don't think he got screwed out of that. For missing and getting an auto pick right there, not bad. His team, Puka, Drake London, Marvin Harrison, I don't like that receiving room at all. Chuba Hubbard, Xavier Worthy, Quinshon Judkins, David Njoku, Justin Herbert. I actually hate this team a lot. I like Chuba Hubbard, and I wanted him around that range. I was hoping he would get to me right there. But yeah, I'm not buying Marvin Harrison until it happens. I'm not buying Drake London with Michael Penix until we see it sustained a little bit longer. Puka's cool. That's nice, but there's questions with quarterback stuff going on there. Plus, you're adding Devontae Adams into the mix, and he's a target hawk. We saw what happened with Garrett Wilson last year. Just Garrett Wilson was feasting targets week after week and still got a decent number of targets afterwards, but it was a drop-off. And we could be looking at that with Puka as well. Not necessarily a guarantee. David Njoku, I don't think Joe Flacco starts all the games, so I don't necessarily like that. Plus, Harold Fannon's there, and David Njoku's 30 now. Is he? Let me click on his profile. 29, probably going to be 30 before too long. Yeah. Damn it! There goes the Broncos after Zach Charbonnet. That's who we really wanted. Smart drafter there in Supa. He's got 2 tight ends. Let's look at his team. CeeDee Lamb, Lamar Jackson, Omarion Hampton, David Montgomery. I thought that was a reach. There were still some better running backs on the board, in my opinion. Sam Laporta, Calvin Ridley, Evan Ingram. So a second 2 tight end team in the league. And then the Denver Broncos defense. So Let's. I want to see. I want to see what it looks like in the lineup for him. So he still is needing a flex guy, but he's got the defense locked up, and I think that makes total sense. You got your flex guy. I guess actually he still needs 2 flex guys because one of those is Evan Ingram, and I don't think he's rolling with Evan Ingram in the flex. So let's look at these defenses and see who's available. I don't want to have to punt it and look for a late round group, but we'll see. The Steelers are there. The Ravens are there. Steelers could get cooked by their offense. I might go Vikings defense on the comeback around. So let's look at who's available here. Nobody in the queue. We haven't really been queuing up players, kind of just here and there as we go, so I don't forget who I'm looking at for that next come up. We got Javonte, Joe Mixon, J.K. Dobbins. Some of the tight ends, Darnell Mooney, Michael Pittman, some more tight ends, kicker. I think I'm going to go... Let's look at Javonte. Anything recent coming out on him? Seeing most reps with starters, as one would assume. Yeah, I'm not going to let Jaden Blue scare me off. I'm going to go Javonte right here. And then I think we're going to try to go Pittsburgh defense. Maybe. But they could just get cooked if there's nothing going on offense. But then again, to start the year, they should... Who do they start the year against? The Jets. I actually like their start to the year a lot. And they have an early bye, though. I don't like the early bye because I would rather wait till there's less teams in the league and buy the defense late. So you know what, at this point, if I'm not getting one of those, kind of top defenses I wanted, I think I'm just going to kind of wait on the defense because, I don't see the upside because a lot of these teams are going to be available. Maybe not a lot of them, but some of them are going to be available after the first week. So if I can get by with just someone who's got a good week 1 matchup, and who is that? That's the fucking Steelers. That's the Steelers. They got the Jets. Who's coming off the board here? Okay, it was a double up. It was after I took Javonte, J.K. Dobbins goes off the board and Jaden Higgins goes off the board. Who's Minnesota got week 1? Chicago. I kind of like that. I might be able to snag them come around week 1. Who plays the fucking Saints week 1? Yeah. The Cardinals? Yeah, okay. Actually, no, I'm not going to fall into that trap. We remember what happened with the Saints last year. Who we got flex-wise here? Otherwise, I might just fucking send it. Who's our tight end? We don't have a tight end. Oh, fuck. I really don't know here. You know what? I am going to go... I'm just going to send it and take the Steelers defense, I think, because we're really just playing for week 1 here at this point. So I think we go Steelers. Yeah, so we went Steelers defense there. Okay, so live look at our lineup. We'll check out what we're cooking with so far. Actually, I really like this. This might be one of my favorite drafts I've ever done so far, at least to start. We got Jaden Daniels at quarterback, running backs DeAndre Swift and Tyrone Tracy, receivers Justin Jefferson, T. Higgins, Devontae Smith, and Jacoby Myers. And then on the bench we've got the Steelers defense starting, and then on the bench we've got Javonte Williams. I like that a lot. I'm gonna remove my cat from the bunny room real quick. Tell my dogs to hush up. Okay, yeah, so I think I do think we're cooking here. I do think we're cooking with this draft. Barring me kind of overlooking week 1 matchups and any kind of foresights right there. I kind of like what we're cooking with. Bandit, hush up! And get Tucker Kraft going right after the Steelers defense. Kind of getting into some of the weeds here. Kind of getting into some of the weeds here. We'll probably start reviewing some of these teams because people are taking longer to pick too. So, we'll do Goldfinger Mark. He had the first pick in the draft. It was the first team to 9 players. Started us off in the 9th round. His team, I like it. I like his draft. Jamar Chase, Ladd McConkey, Trey McBride, R.J. Harvey, George Pickens, Travis Etienne, which he cucked us on, Jalen Warren, which I thought was a really good pick. I don't know if I would have taken him. I might have thought about it if he had been the guy left there. I probably would have still gone Jacoby, but it would have been between those two. And then after Jalen Warren, he's got J.K. Dobbins and Jaden Higgins to round it out. So his receivers, Jamar, Ladd, George Pickens, and Jaden Higgins. Excuse me. I love that. Running backs, R.J. Harvey, Travis Hunter, Jalen Warren, and J.K. Dobbins. Nothing flashy, but that's, I think, going to be really good to start the year. Travis Etienne, people have been kind of knocking him down all offseason. He's going to get the passing downs work. He's gonna rush the ball, and he's just the most experienced guy in that offense. And I just think he's going to be their main guy, at least, especially to start the year, which is what you're worried about in a Guillotine league. Jalen Warren, kind of same thing. I think that's RB1 at least to start the year for Pittsburgh. So I think that's a great deal. And then I think going ahead and taking JK where he took him, it was about right at where he would have gone off the board. It makes sense. You've got R.J. Harvey. I understand you don't want to take the chance on Javonte Williams, Josh Downs, Keon Coleman, some of these other guys. I'm going backwards. Excuse me. You didn't want to take the chance on, like Marvin Mims, Christian Kirk. I wanted to take the chance on Christian Kirk, and some of these other guys. I get that. And going with Jaden Higgins, and I feel like it's just a great start, and he can get a quarterback now late. There's guys like Drake May still on the board. So yeah, I think Goldfinger's off to a great start. We got Justef. I picked after Goldfinger, but I've gone over my team enough. You guys know what's going on there so far. Justef is picking right after me, 3rd pick overall, and his team is looking like Saquon Barkley, Chase Brown, JSN, DJ Moore, Baker Mayfield, Jordan Addison, Brian Robinson, Josh Downs, and Tucker Kraft. Devon Vele is being traded to the Saints. Live reaction. What do we think of that? Not much. If you're a Devin Neal owner, which I think I have a share of him somewhere, you don't like it, but yeah, I'm pretty sure he had low draft capital. Yeah, not a big deal. That's just, that's a non-starter for me. Irrelevant. Justef, his team, sorry, I got sidetracked there. I think I read it all off. His tight end's Tucker Kraft, just drafted Josh Downs as well, or Josh Downs the round before that. Good 1-2 punch with the running backs, Saquon and Chase, like that. I thought I wouldn't have drafted Brian Robinson, especially not where he was. I think Brian Robinson should probably still be on the board, in my opinion. Receiving room's pretty solid. JSN, DJ Moore, Jordan Addison, Josh Downs. Jordan Addison, I thought that's kind of a reach considering he's not playing the first 4 games in a Guillotine league. That could really cost you because there's still guys like Tracy, Etienne, Ibuka, Pearsall, Samuel on the board. They're going to have immediate significant week 1 value. Jacoby Myers was still on the board. Not a big fan of that. And Josh Downs, I'm not big on the receiving room. just never been a big JSN guy. I already mentioned questions about the quarterback room there in Seattle. DJ Moore, I think I said on the last pod, I like that Ben Johnson wants to find new ways to get him involved, and I think he's really good. And he's going to be a focal point, but, like, I just, in the fourth round, and I guess that's right at the end of the fourth round, that's 4-12, 14-team league, so not right at the end of the fourth round. But you get what I'm saying. Then Baker Mayfield, I'd have just rather waited on quarterback and then gone a couple high upside guys at the end of the draft over Baker, personally, if I wasn't going to get one of the elite guys, which I'm glad I did. Not big on that team. Tucker Kraft, the tight end one. Just F. I'm not feeling the team, brother Maine. Am not feeling the team. Let's go ahead and move on to Dev. First 4 people in this draft, all members of the OG Podcast League. Jaden Blue going off at the 9-14 there, about to start off the 10th round here. Dev, his team, he started off with Bijan Robinson, Alvin Kamara, Tyreek Hill, James Conner, Jamison Williams, Brock Purdy, Tyler Warren, Keon Coleman, and Marvin Mims. Looking at the running back room, you can't complain. You got Bijan, you got Alvin, and you got James Conner. That's a great 3-man rotation right there. That's just, you can't be really disappointed walking away from a draft with those 3. You probably could, but not in the way I think he's doing it. Then he's got Tyreek Hill, took him in the 3rd round, Jamison Williams, Keon Coleman, and Marvin Mims. He were his last 2 picks. Not the greatest receiving room, but if he wins a week or 2 and can find a guy off the waiver wire, I think he's got a good start. Tyler Warren could be a big part of that offense. I don't know. We'll see. I think of people getting a little too excited about Sam Laporta, a big rookie year. Trey McBride breaking out, second year halfway through, and Brock Bowers, tight end 1 in his rookie year. It's not always like that, and that's not the norm. We've been kind of blessed with it these last couple of years. It's actually been pretty nice, especially as a Trey McBride owner. I didn't draft him though. Found him on the waiver wire. Got there before everybody else. You got to grind. I'm not super big on this team. Still needs a quarterback, but he can wait on that. I think that's fine. If I were going to wait on quarterback, he has Brock Purdy. I don't hate it. I think after a week or 2, if he survives a week or 2, it could definitely turn into something pretty nasty. After that, we've got, I'm not sure how you say his name. We're going to call him Crad. I liked the start of his draft, and yeah, man, I love this draft. Wow, he's doing, wow. We're going to give this guy some flowers. Jahmyr Gibbs, Brock Bowers, Jalen Hurts, Tet McMillan's, Rashee Rice. I don't like that. I did not like that. I hate that pick. I hate that he took Rashee that early. Tony Pollard, but I do think he can probably survive a week or 2 because he's got Emeka Ibuka, who's got Chris Godwin on I think starting on PUP, or at least hurt to start the year. He just drafted Christian Kirk, and I think he got a great value insane value on Christian Kirk, actually, at the 9-5 in a 14-team league. That's crazy. And then his running backs, Jahmyr Gibbs and Tony Pollard. Not super deep there, but I think that's a great starter right there, which that's all he needs. That's all he needs for a week. Well, that's all you need is just the starting lineup. So that's why we ended up going Steelers on the last one. People sleeping on the kicker. Oh, nope. There goes Brandon Aubrey. So let's kick. Oh, and Jake Bates is gone. We need to catch up some picks. So from my last pick, which was the Pittsburgh Steelers, defense goes Tucker Kraft, Marvin Mims, Christian Kirk, Trey Harris, Michael Pittman, Kyle Pitts, Dallas Goedert, Ramondre, Brandon Aubrey, the first kicker, Chig, the Ravens defense, Jaden Blue, Jake Bates, that's my boy Jake Bates, Tank Bigsby, the Lions defense, Dalton Kincaid, Darnell Mooney, Dak, and then CJ Stroud, friend of the show, Lucas, as always, is on the clock. All right, so enough recapping everyone else. Let's start looking at what we're going to do here. Need to think about kicker. Let's look at, we're wanting Hunter Henry is the tight end we're after. Let's look and see if we think he's going to be sneaky. I think he's still sneaky for a while. Yeah, he's not popping up here. Jake Ferguson's still well ahead of him. Zach Ertz still well ahead there. So and Isaiah, I think we still got time on Hunter Henry. So we're going to wait there and probably go. I'm not going to lie, I might go with the kicker from Jacksonville. I mean, this is a free league, and this at the end of the day, I'm trying to win and everything, and we're trying to win, but we are just trying to have fun, and it's my first Guillotine league too, so we're learning as well. I might go the kicker just because I'll buy the hype. I'll buy into the I'm Mr. Don't buy into the preseason. I'll buy that preseason kick because I don't think that makes a difference. I think he could do that against their special team starters too. Yeah. I think we're probably going with the kid from there because I don't think they really put enough thought into the how the scoring works. So yeah, for the kickers because it's 0.1 for every kicker yard, which I think, in my opinion, is how it should be. Scott Fish did that in Scott Fish Bowl last year, and I think it was just the move. Makes kickers important, makes them relevant. You still penalties from his kicks. It brings the strategy into kickers. If you got a guy, what do you want to do with your kicker? You want to go guy, maybe not the most accurate guy, but a dude that can just boot it, and maybe some weeks, he's going to get you, a kicker might get you a 20, 24, maybe even a 30-point week. Another week, he might get you a 2-point week because he might miss, 3 30-yard field goals kind of deal. Or do you want that, consistent, 10 to 15 every week? He's never kicking the fucking 70-yard field goal, but he's never probably going to miss either. You got to kind of weigh that out. And for me personally, I'm going to go with the upside. So I think we might go with Cam Little, but looking as far down as he is in there, like I mentioned, seems like everyone here is kind of at least somewhat following the sleeper ADP. There's maybe not quite to a T, but I think we can get him. A quarterback run here. Okay, so let's catch back up. We went Jake Bates to start the 10th round, Tank Bigsby, the Detroit Lions defense, Kincaid, Darnell Mooney, Dak Prescott, C.J. Stroud, Caleb Williams, and Jordan Love. A lot of teams getting up to 2 quarterbacks here. I will not be drafting a second quarterback at all. Yeah, I think that would be a little silly of me, honestly. Well, when is Jaden's bye week? When's the bye week? That's week 12. Yeah, I will not be drafting another quarterback. Rashad White coming off the board there to Crad. I like that. RB3 for him. Not great, but could be an awesome handcuff this year. Najee Harris going right after him at the 10-11. We got just Steph on the clock. He takes Chris Godwin. I think we're gonna go. We still got some options here. I'm kind of thinking about Vikings defense. Who do they got week 1? Chicago. That's tempting. I'm not liking a lot of these flex options here. This is gross. I might go Keenan Allen, honestly. Rashid Shaheed or Keenan Allen. Who are we looking at running back? Trey Benson, Tajay Spears. Braylon Allen's right there. I might actually try to swing him around on the next one. Let's go ahead and mark him down. Wide receiver. We are going to go... I'm not going to quite go Rashad Bateman. I'm actually going to go with the first tight end. I'm going to go Zach Ertz. To pair up, I was going to wait a little longer, but I kind of want to go ahead and get it out the way. And I'll go Zach Ertz and Hunter Henry to start the year. I might even just go Zach Ertz to start the year because he's right there. Buffalo Bills comes off the board. Their defense, let's see who he doubles up on. Who we got here? Austin Eckler's right there. Luther Burden. I'm kind of thinking about Keenan Allen a little bit. Not going to lie. Rashad Bateman's right here. Trey Benson. Adam Thielen. I think I'm going to go Rashad Bateman, actually. Yeah, I think I'm going to go Rashad Bateman. Yeah, that's a way overpay, though. I'm going to go Shaheed. That's my boy. We'll go with Shaheed. And plus, I think he's better than Olave, and I think he probably takes over as wide receiver 1 there this year. I don't got my fucking water in here. That's tragic. Absolutely tragic. Okay. So, probably going to go ahead and keep pushing back kicker a little bit farther and just try and get as many of these. Yep, Joe Mixon finally off the board. Honestly, I probably should have taken him right there. That's actually probably where he should have gone. We're getting into the double digits now. Yeah, we're into round 11. That's where I should have taken him. Yeah, instead of Shaheed because of the upside. Damn it. Yeah. That's a mistake. So we can chalk that down as a mistake for the draft, yeah. Yeah, should have taken Joe Mixon there. Yeah. And actually, I like that a lot for Gisteff, too, because he's got Saquon and Chase Brown, but then Brian Robinson is his only other running back after that. Saquon and Chase Brown should get you to week 2, week 3, and then you bring in a guy like Joe who could potentially be super high upside, and then you can start using that waiver priority to upgrade his receivers, which he could use. Maybe go after a tight end if Tucker Kraft isn't getting it done, or if he wants to upgrade from Baker Mayfield. But I would imagine probably using that to go for a receiver at that point if it unfolds how I would think it would, especially with Jordan Addison being suspended. Chris Godwin hurt, and then Josh Downs, wide receiver 3. Because I think right now, looking at his starting lineup, he would be pushing out in his flex Jordan Addison and Brian Robinson. So if you swap that out, it'd be Josh Downs and Brian Robinson, which isn't terrible. There goes Rashad Bateman. Great pick. Gosh, maybe he wasn't as far down there as I thought he was. Anyways, this is why you do a draft queue, but it's okay. I'm actually kind of glad I didn't, because drafting as you go is kind of fun, and a lot of times you can get too committed into a draft. Yeah, and I'm pretty happy with this fucking draft. Yeah. I think I've got a great starting group, actually. I think I've got incredible starting group. So, actually, I've before I catch up my own team, where did we leave off? Catching up on some other teams. Let's see. Well, fuck it. We'll read off Lucas's. I don't remember where we were. So we'll start with Lucas, because he is a friend of the program, hopefully. And I do believe he actually does listen sometimes, if I remember correctly. So hopefully he has made it this long, getting a little inside coverage as to what some of his competition is thinking going into this draft. He's got Amon-Ra, Travis Hunter, Jerry Jeudy, Ricky Pearsall, and Michael Pittman as his receivers. I like Jerry and I like Amon-Ra. Ricky Pearsall could be a nice little sleeper this year. Maybe not even a sleeper. Breakout, I should say. Michael Pittman, if they get okay quarterback play, which I guess he actually fits Daniel Jones' kind of play style. Michael Pittman likes to get the ball short area and then kind of do stuff after that. So, I don't know, maybe that'll actually work really well for Michael Pittman. That could maybe be a steal. Caleb Williams is his quarterback. His running backs are Kyron and Trevion. And then he's got Zach Charbonnet and George Kittle as tight end 1. So a very solid team, actually, just all around. Like it. Let's see what's going on in the chat here. I got a message. They want to do 1-minute picks. No, we're almost there. Yeah, no, we almost there, fellas. Y'all gonna have to deal with it. Okay. So I let them know. It's like, no, I'm covering. I'm doing the live thing. I'm talking about it on the pod. Plus, we're already almost around 12. We're only doing 15 rounds. We don't need to go change the draft clock. But Phil, let's get it going. Like, yeah, running out the draft clock again. Jeremy will be on the clock next. We're gonna see who's going. This round we got Luther Burden and Jake Ferguson, Cameron Dicker, another quarterback. Justin Fields coming off in the 11th round of a 14-team Guillotine League after Rashad Bateman, after Joe Mixon, after Rashid Shaheed, after Chris Godwin, after Tucker Kraft, after a lot of these defenses. Oh, Drake May off the board. That kind of sucks too. But that's okay. He'll be available for me. I'm not worried about it. So let's see where we are getting here. A little bit of a couple defenses. The Texans and the Vikings go off board. Tajay Spears, Nick Chubb off the board. We got Mateo off the clock. This is one of the guys wanting the 1 minute clock, so hopefully he picks quick. Chris Boswell getting another kicker off the board. Cam Little still available. And it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. More teams than I thought still need a kicker. Okay. I thought more kickers had come off the board. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 off the board. So still got 10 more teams needing a kicker. So hopefully no one takes Cam Little this coming bend, because that is who I will be after. Probably with this 12th round pick. Then 13. We're looking at death pieces. Keenan Allen's still available right there. Let's see here. Trey Benson kind of getting to backup handcuff running back territory. Looking at that, Hunter Henry would be getting close. I would consider go ahead and taking him, because who knows when an elite tight end will become available, and if I will have good waiver priority when that happens. Braylon Allen's still there. That's a piece I will definitely So he's in the queue. He will be considered for sure. Brenton Strange still right there. That might be a late round tight end pick I go with. Jalen Wright. I would say Jalen Wright and Braylon Allen are probably going to be two of my top handcuff picks. I'm going to go ahead and kind of get this queue set up so that I don't keep the draft holding. I know everyone's wanting to get on. Got stuff to do with their Wednesday afternoon. I get it. Let's get the guy in the queue. I do think I'm going to go ahead and prioritize this kicker over one of these handcuff running backs. Hopefully at least one of them is still available on that turn. One of those being Braylon Allen or Jalen Wright. I think I'd probably go Braylon Allen first, but that's getting close. I'm a little worried about the Achane injury. Like I said earlier, from what I've heard, I might be wrong. It sounds like a similar injury to what McCaffrey was dealing with last year, and we all know how that worked for everybody. Oh, who just went off the board? Who was that? Trey Benson. Okay, Trey Benson goes off the board right there. A nice James Conner handcuff. I get that as well. That makes perfect sense. Okay. So, and if both those guys are gone, did Cam Little go too? Or is that his name? Cam Little? Yeah, he's gone too. Dang it. So a couple guys gone just like that. So now we're looking at hoping to get Braylon Allen and Jalen Wright the next come around with what's going on. I doubt that's going to happen. We got Garendo below that in the queue, then Keenan Allen as well as Hunter Henry. Man, kind of just, into the gross parts of the draft, but these are parts that matter, and you can really get some important pieces here sometimes. So we're going to finish strong. Gosh. Who are we looking at here? Do we got anything? Do we got a chat going on at all? Nope. Of course not. Jack Beck. Hollywood Brown. Now that could actually be interesting. What's his health? Back at practice. Okay, I like that. Let's go ahead and get a click on Rashee Rice here. See what's we'll play in preseason finale. Initially proposed the preseason. Okay. I kind of want Hollywood Brown for when that suspension does come. Demario Douglas still available? He is going to my roster. He's actually jumping to the top. I can't believe he slipped this far. He's going to the top of my queue. So at this point, I would like to get Demario Douglas and then one of those handcuff running backs. Definitely. 100%. And then afterwards, we will go Bill, still on the board, as he probably should be. And kind of refreshing to see. Maybe I just spend too much time in the dynasty streets, and that's why I think he's getting a little too overhyped. And maybe that's what all of the it's all coming from on the excessive amounts of ads, I feel like. And I get it. Everyone wants to be attached to Jaden. I get it. But, it's still a crowded running back room. And, he's playing the fucking Bengals. Even if it was the Bengals starters. Like I've said a million times already on this pod, I don't know. You guys get what I'm saying. Jalen Wright off the board. Austin Eckler off the board. San Francisco 49ers. And Mike Gesicki off the board. We are back to just Steph, who is not in the draft room. So I really hope we're not about to run down this draft clock. Yeah, I am actually probably going to go ahead and switch it to 1 minute times, because at this point, we can just go ahead and switch it. So I will go ahead. And we will just go ahead, and we're going to switch to the 1 minute draft times. Following just Steph, we're going to give him one last little bit to pick. And then, yeah. He started with 2 minutes, so we're going to give him his 2 minutes. We'll keep it fair. And then as soon as I get on the clock, we will adjust it. And then I will draft. Who took Demario Douglas? Where'd he go? Which one of you motherfuckers? Where'd he go? Why is he not there? Where he was just here. When did he go? Why is he not in the queue then? Okay, there goes Keenan Allen. I'm on the clock. Demario Douglas, it says is in my queue, but is not showing that he is, so that's really annoying. Let's go ahead and change it to 60 seconds on the draft time. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and take Demario Douglas. Okay, I wasn't scrolling high enough because I'm a tard. So we got Demario Douglas there. I'm very happy. I can't believe he slipped to almost the last 4 rounds. That's really surprising to me. I thought a lot of people were pretty high on him this year, but I suppose not. I suppose if I'm on this live, I should maybe have this facing up a little bit, so I'm looking up a little bit more at the camera instead of down at my phone the entire time. Oh gosh, still going to be looking at my phone the whole time, let's be real. Tyler Loop coming off the board, sharing up some kickers. We got the 1 minute clock on, so going to hopefully kind of go through this and start covering through the last of some of these teams. He goes with Ray Davis. We are going to go Braylon Allen or Garendo. I think I'm going to go Garendo because I think Allen can slip back around. Commanders off the board. We got auto draft on for him. Thank goodness. So I think we're going to hope. The last 3 players, we got 2 more picks left. I still need a kicker. All the kickers are basically gone at this point, so I'm not even going to... So basically got 1 pick. We're going to hope for Hunter Henry, Hollywood Brown, or Braylon Allen. And then we'll just, at this point, we'll just take whatever's left on kicker. Which, really, I'm fine with if I'm not getting... I feel like with Guillotine, if I'm not getting one of the elite guys at a premium, if it's especially a non-premium position, I'll just wait, you know? And I might even be funny and go draft fucking Justin Tucker just for the lulz. No, if he is available, it'll be between Will Reichard and Kyami Fairbairn. I'm surprised Kyami's still on here. Might actually go with him with the next pick and then double up with Braylon. Bashal Tootin going off. Adam Thielen coming off the board. All right, we're starting to cycle through some picks here. Okay. Maybe not. Maybe not as fast as I thought we were. But we got Lucas on the clock. Got a couple auto pickers. A lot of people on auto pick now. Real quick. Dang it. There goes Braylon Allen. That sucks. Let's see if there's any other handcuffs out here we might like to be interested in. Dylan Sampson. We might consider him. Jerome Ford. Now, I might actually, he's been getting some work. I'm going to go Jerome Ford. Is Quinshon, is he signed? Yeah, he's still not even signed. And then what I'm seeing is they may not even reach a deal until the end of the NFL investigation. So, as far as I'm concerned, Jerome Ford's still a starter for the year. Dylan Sampson, I don't think he's stole that job yet. He's worked with the starters. Okay, it says a bit. was the first running back through the rotation Wednesday and Thursday during joint practices. Zach Jackson of The Athletic reports. Limited touches. Gosh. Kansas City defense going off the board. So I am interested in Jerome Ford and Dylan Sampson here this late. I didn't really realize they were still available. I don't like any of these receivers. We're looking at like Wan'Dale Robinson, Xavier Legette, Josh Palmer, Jack Beck. I don't really like any of that. Running backs, Dylan Sampson, Jerome Ford, Kareem Hunt, Rico Dowdle, Woody Marks. Kind of surprised he stumbled this far. What's okay. 19 rushing yards, okay. Who do we got ahead of Marks here? Chubb, which is a joke. There goes Dylan Sampson. Okay. Okay. Yeah, we're getting close here. We're getting close. I think everyone here is either online or on auto draft, so we should be busting out these last. Okay, yep, there we go. Pick. Yep, nice couple back-to-back ones. Matthew Stafford and Bryce Young going off the board. Jerome Ford following. Joshua Palmer, the Seattle Seahawks. We're getting some ground. Miami Fairbairn. Fuck you, Lucas. Damn it, boy. Damn it, Lucas. That's my kicker, boy. I wanted that. All right. Enough of that. All right. I watched Holes last night, so Mr. Sir's kind of been in my head. All-time movie character, by the way. If you haven't watched that and seen Mr. Sir's character recently, please go back and watch that. That is just a timeless, ageless character. Like, he is just enjoyable. Yeah. Something funny. Oh, man, that's probably my all-time favorite movie, Holes. Okay, so we are getting towards the end here. I really want to start doing final team recaps as soon as we get through this last round. We can, because Goldfinger Mark will get us started on the final round, and we can go. All right. We got a pick there from Supa. He takes Hannah Henry. Nice pick. He's a 3 tight end roster, 2 quarterbacks as well. Very interesting. One defense. It is the Denver defense, so he did get the elite one. All right, we got Crad. Online. Okay, he's online, so let's see where he's going to go. Oh, man, he does have Brock Bowers, only 1 tight end. Okay, he goes Wan'Dale, only 1 tight end. Okay. We are on the board, on the clock with Hollywood Brown. Basically, everyone I want is gone. Hollywood's the closest, is really what we're looking at. I'm thinking maybe Woody Marks, because I'm trying to decide who would be ahead of him. Nick Chubb, maybe. Damian Pierce ain't getting shit ahead of him to start week 1. Jalen McMillan, that's no. Okay. I think I'm going to go Woody Marks. Because Kaimi Fairbairn's gone, so I'll just wait and go Will Reichard. So I'm going to, we'll just... There we go, yeah. So basically that's my team done. So I'll go ahead and I'll just recap my final team because I'm just going to draft probably Will Reichard here with my kicker. Actually, no. I'm not going to draft a kicker. I'm gonna pull a Zach special, and I'm not going to draft a kicker. I'm going to try and make a trade and free up a space and sign a kicker. Since I've already punted kicker at this point, why not, go ahead and take Hollywood if I can't, turn that into something else. Who did the Patriots got week 1? The Raiders. Ooh. That's interesting. That is interesting. We don't got dick left here for receivers at this point. Xavier Legette, Jack Beck, Hollywood Brown. It's the only way. DeAndre Hopkins. McMillan would be nice, but if he wasn't hurt, he wouldn't be here. Romeo Dobbs, Tyler Lockett. I don't want any of these guys. Torrey Horton. Verbal meme. There ain't shit in this draft. Torrey Horton. Okay, yeah, we're gonna add him to the queue. He might just actually be the last pick there, because he could really take the top off that fucking off that Seattle offense there. Okay. I don't really want to draft another running back. I don't think we got Dick there anyways. I'm looking at like Roshan, Corum, Dowdle, Kareem Hunt, Will Shipley. Ollie Gordon. I have been thinking about him in some dynasty leagues. Jalen Wright. Rough showing in preseason win. Brenton Strange going off the board there, late round. Ollie Gordon. So let's go ahead and I'm going to add him into that queue. We'll make that. Any tight ends I want to throw in there? Nah, those are all gross. Gross. So, Ollie Gordon, Torrey Horton, Hollywood Brown for the last pick. I think I'm not worried about week 1 really because I have my lineup set. I think long term I'm going to want to rather have probably Torrey. I'm going to go Hollywood Brown actually. Just because who knows what's going to happen with Rashee Rice. I've said that a million times on this pod. But probably going to get suspended at some point. Probably going to miss some significant time. And during that time, he could step up. Could. Who knows? It's the last fucking pick, so it doesn't really matter. We'll see what happens. So we're finally through. Some of these teams are we're finishing up our teams or whatever, and the rest of the teams are making their last picks. So we'll go in order here and review the Keep It About Ball podcast Guillotine League. So with the number 1 pick, picking from the number 1 spot, 14-team league, by the way, 1 QB, 2 receiver, 2 flex, pretty standard, PPR, 6 point per passing touchdown. Number 1 pick, his team is looking like Jamar Chase, Ladd McConkey, Trey McBride, RJ Harvey, George Pickens, Travis Etienne, Jalen Warren, Jaden Higgins, Buffalo Bills, Drake May at quarterback. I think he did great. I really like this team a lot. Tyler Loop, Ray Davis, Elick Iomaner, and Brenton Strange. I love the value on getting Brenton Strange as your tight end too that late when you have Trey McBride. You got him early. Buffalo Bills defense should at least get you through a week or two. Drake May, I think you got an awesome value on him. Running back room is pretty solid, not great. Receiving room's about as good as it's going to be. I like that team. I think that's a good team. Team picking in the number 2 spot, that was myself. And I'm actually going to read these a little bit different. I'm going to read it by position. So my quarterback is Jaden Daniels, only quarterback on the roster. Running backs, DeAndre Swift, Tyrone Tracy, Javonte Williams, Woody Marks, and Isaac Guerrero. And then at receiver, we got Justin Jefferson, T. Higgins, Devontae Smith, Jacoby Myers, Hollywood Brown, and Rashid Shaheed. Tight end is Zach Ertz. No other tight ends beyond him. Defense is the Steelers, and I didn't draft a kicker. We're gonna. I don't know who we're gonna try and trade, but we're gonna try and make a trade, try and do some up fishing, and just get that head start going into week 1, and try and just build up the biggest monster we can as fast as we can. I might come back here in a little bit and start talking some strategy on what I'm thinking post-draft. Or that might just be a whole other pod. We'll see. We'll go ahead and move on to just Steph's team. He ended up with Baker Mayfield as his quarterback, and then he's also got Michael Penix on his roster. That's a really weird way to read that. Michael Penix, and then his running backs, Saquon, Chase Brown, Joe Mixon, and Brian Robinson. Interesting build. High risk, high reward build for sure in the format. Receivers, JSN, DJ Moore, Josh Downs, Chris Godwin, Keenan Allen. That's all out of the number 3 pick spot. His tight ends are his Tucker Kraft, excuse me. He's got a kicker, Young Ho Koo, a Washington Commanders defense. Not too much more there. Number 4 pick, we got Dev. His quarterback is, did he draft a quarterback? Yes, Brock Purdy. His running backs are Bijan and Alvin Kamara, James Conner, Najee Harris, not a bad group there. Receiver, Tyreek Hill, Jamison Williams, Keon Coleman, Marvin Mims. He really got Rashad Bateman late, which is nice. And then he took Tyler Lockett, which probably won't be on his roster for long, but that's okay. It's his last pick. Tight ends are Gesicki and Warren. Crad. His quarterbacks, nice. Fields and Hurts. Got Fields really late, too. Running backs, Gibbs, Pollard, Rashad White, and Keaton Mitchell. Then he's got Tet, Rashee Rice, Ibuka, Jaden Reed, Christian Kirk, and Wandale as his receivers. Tight end is Brock Bowers. In the fifth, I already lost count where we were at. Yikes. In the sixth spot, we got Supa. And his draft looking like he's got Lamar Jackson and Jordan Love for quarterback. Wide receiver rooms looking like CeeDee Lamb, Calvin Ridley, Trey Harris, Pat Bryant, and Jack Beck. Running backs, O'Marion, Hampton, David Montgomery, Jalen Wright. And his tight end is Hunter Henry, Evan Ingram, and Sam Laporta. Friend of the show, as many times aforementioned, Lucas, his team finishing out with Caleb Williams at quarterback, Kyron, Trevian, Zach Charbonnet, Austin Eckler, and Ja'Cory Bill Merritt at running back. At receiver, that was really fucking lame. Pretend I didn't say that. At receiver, he's got Amon-Ra St. Brown, Travis Hunter, Jerry Jeudy, Ricky Pearsall, Michael Pittman, and Luther Burden. His tight end is George Kittle. That's a great team. I like that team a lot. I think Crad, Lucas, and Goldfinger, along with myself, have my favorite draft so far. Of course, I like my own draft. But I wouldn't be afraid to say if I didn't. Okay. Anyways. Next up, we got Big R on auto draft the entire time. So let's see what he went away with. Josh Allen and C.J. Stroud at quarterback. Running backs, Ashton Genty, Isaiah Pacheco, Cam Scatabo, Bishal Tootin, and Rico Dowdle. At wide receiver, he's got Terry McLaurin, Rome Odunze, Deebo Samuel. And that is it. That is fucking disgusting. His tight end, wow. Kyle Pitts and Jake Ferguson. I hate this team. I cannot, this team is causing me physical pain, actually. This is absolutely disgusting. You can definitely tell this guy auto-drafted without a doubt. I was kind of interesting to see if it panned out for him, because sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. This is terrible. I mean, he's got Josh Allen and C.J. Stroud. That's great. Genty and Cook at running back. Okay, and Pacheco. Okay, I like the running back room, actually. Okay. I love the running back room, actually. I don't love it. I like the running back room. Love the quarterback room. Not that you need two quarterbacks when you have Josh Allen in a Guillotine league. I don't really get that, but okay. Yeah. But the receivers, Rome, Deebo, and Terry, I don't see it. There is a documented history of players in situations like Terry McLaurin's where they're not the same coming back to start the year. And, maybe he's an outlier and that doesn't happen, but I wouldn't want to count on that. And then you got Deebo Samuel. I mean, that's might be nice, week 1, week 2, which is what we're playing for. But what happens when Terry comes back? I don't know. I don't want to nitpick at what happens down the line because I've spent the whole time talking about we're playing for week 1 here. Rome Odunze. This is wide receiver 1 as of right now because Terry McLaurin's not currently playing football, so I don't know. He's going to be very reliant on that running back room. For his sake, he's going to really want Isaiah Pacheco to have a nice bounce-back year. That would give him a good flex spot there with Genty and Cook at his starting running back spots. And then he can just hope that the receivers are serviceable, I guess, and that the tight ends are serviceable. As far as defense, he has the Seahawks defense. Gross. And then Jake Elliott is his kicker. Yeah, I don't like that team. I think he might be the first one eliminated. Phil Will, member of the podcast league, friend of the show, of course. His team is looking like two quarterbacks, Justin Herbert, Dak Prescott. At running back, he's got Chuba, who he stole from us. Not really quite stole. That was a few picks ahead of us. And we were probably kind of being a little wishful, thinking he might get to us. Quinshawn Judkins in the 6th round, which is duck tits crazy. And his third running back is Kareem Hunt, who he took in the 3rd round. So that's fucking disgusting. His receivers, Puka, Drake London, Marvin Harrison, Xavier Worthy, Adam Thielen, Josh Palmer. I don't hate it. I don't think it's great. But I certainly think like as I've said, we're playing for week 1. I definitely think a guy like Puka, maybe London or Worthy right in there at your wide receiver 2, get you through the first week. Chuba Hubbard, definitely I think get you through your first week. Quinshawn, that's, I don't know. Kareem, that's, I don't know. Then you're looking at flex, and you're talking about Marvin Harrison and Adam Thielen, Joshua Palmer for your flex spots. So, yeah, I don't really like that team too much either. That's pretty gross. Tight ends, David Njoku, I said my piece about him just a little bit ago and on the last pod. Dallas Goedert, I like Dallas Goedert. I think he probably actually, at 9-10, that's probably some pretty good value on Dallas Goedert there. Got the Texans defense. That's pretty solid. Harrison Butker should be pretty consistent, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not big on that team. I think I like it a little more than big R's, though. Next up, we got Jeremy. His team, he's got Kyler as his only quarterback. His running back is Josh Jacobs, Jordan Mason, Romondre, Braylon Allen, and Jerome Ford. Well, actually, let me finish the receivers. Malik Neighbors, Garrett Wilson, Devontae, Cooper Kupp, Darnell Mooney, and Xavier Legette are his receivers. Tight end, Mark Andrews. Got the Vikings defense. I like that. Tampa's kicker, Chase McLaughlin. I think it's a pretty solid team. Kyler, definitely a guy you feel comfortable with, I think, going into week 1 at least. Especially going against, I think, the Saints, right? Yeah, he should tear up a defense like that. You would really hope. I know I sure hope, as someone who has him in multiple dynasty leagues. Running backs, nothing flashy, but I think, especially for week 1, you can probably get by and then try and get a running back from whichever team gets eliminated week 1. If your waiver's nice. Braylon, he could just be a good player. I've been saying all offseason he could be a really good handcuff. He could just be a really good option this year, the way things are going and sounding right now coming out of New York. Receivers, I think it's a pretty solid room. Malik, Garrett Wilson, Devontae Adams, Darnell Mooney, Cooper Kupp, Xavier Legette. I'd swap out Xavier Legette for someone else, but those first 5, I like a lot. I think that's a winning group. I think you can get by with them. Yeah. And then tight end, like I said, Mark Andrews. We'll see what happens there. You can do better, you can do worse. Next up, we got Z115, Z115. We're gonna say Z115. Shout out Call of Duty Black Ops 1, the best Easter egg of any game of all time. Anyways, his team, Jared Goff at quarterback along with Bryce Young. Running backs, Derrick Henry, Devon Achane, Tajay Spears, and Trey Benson. Receivers are Mike Evans, Cortland Sutton, Zay Flowers, Dante Thornton, and Romeo Dobbs. Tight ends, Dalton Kincaid and TJ Hawkinson. Then he's got the Eagles defense. That's nice. He's got Brandon Aubrey. So I feel like he locked up a couple of key spots right there. A couple of key elite players. If Achane's healthy, running back room, great start for week 1. Like what we're playing for. Great start. You got 2 elite running backs. You're good to go. Probably get by with those receivers for week 1. Probably get by with Goff or Young if you start the right one. Tight end. Actually, Hawkinson. To start the year, because you got Hawkinson with Addison suspended, you would think Hawkinson, gets a little more love, maybe a little extra value there. So he could be nice, to start the first 4 games of the year. That could be a really nice pick until he can go find another tight end, or he might not need to. Maybe this is Dalton Kincaid's year, or maybe TJ Hawkinson just continues to tear it up throughout the year. A solid team. I don't know how much I like it. I like that he locked up some really key points. Like he got an elite running back room, and then locked up like the elite kicker, the elite defense. Like he got that secured in a way, and he's got a decent enough floor everywhere else. If he can survive a week, 2 weeks, he can start to add some receivers. Now, other teams are going to be getting better at the same time too, but if that running back room is coming out healthy every week, he's going to be tough to beat, and it's not going to really matter if you're stacking a whole lot more depth. So, not a bad team, pretty solid. Not great, but I think it's pretty solid. Next up, we got Odlamo. I don't know if that's how you say it, but that's what we're calling him. Podcast league member, friend of the show, of course. His quarterback, Bronix. I'm gonna roll. I misspoke that, but I'm gonna roll with it. Then we got Matthew Stafford there too. Not bad. I don't really get it, but it was his second to last pick, so it makes sense. Running backs, Christian McCaffrey, Bucky Irving, Breece Hall. He actually started the draft 3 running backs. Then Nick Chubb, his receivers, Chris Olave, Stephon Diggs, Khalil Shakur, Brandon Ayuk, and his lone tight ends, he has 2 tight ends, Chico Conquo and Elijah Arroyo. And then he is the one that took Cam Little from us, very sadly. Oh, he does also have Cedric Tillman, too. Very nice. Got him pretty late. And the Lions defense. Honestly, pretty good team. Yeah, I like this. I like this team. Similar to the last one, got the running back locked up. And if Breece is better than like what a lot of us are anticipating, then he's got a great flex option lined up too. He's got his running back room set and his first flex set. And so it's not such a killer that he'd, be throwing, Khalil Shakur in your second flex spot. I'm fine with that. Then got Chris Olave and Stephon Diggs in your first wide receiver spots. That's not bad. Diggs could have a pretty decent year. Was having a good year last year. A lot is riding on Drake May. A lot, especially for fantasy, is riding on Drake May. And a lot of people's, not just in the East Coast, but all across the country, a lot of our spiritual and mental well-beings are riding on Drake May and how he does this year. So hopefully he does really well. Yeah, I think it's a pretty good team. Tight end, he waited on it, but I think that's all right. He's got Elijah Arroyo and Chico Conquo. I think that gets it done for especially like a week 1 type deal. You got the highest upside kicker right there. You got a really solid defense, probably a top 5 defense in the Detroit Lions there. So, this is a good team. I would expect to see this one hang around a while. Really glad to see a lot of the the ZBR podcast league members. Really glad to see a lot of them drafting well here. I'm glad to see them doing well. Mateo, again, is a member of the ZBR podcast league. I just don't remember his team name. And yeah, and he doesn't have one on here. His team, looking at a quarterback, he's got Joe Burrow and JJ McCarthy. Then at running back, he's got Nico, DK Metcalf, Jawan Jennings, and DeAndre Hopkins. At running back, he's got Jonathan Taylor, Aaron Jones, Tank Bigsby, Tyler Algier, Dylan Sampson. His tight ends are Travis Kelce, Jonnu Smith, and then he's got the Ravens defense and Chris Boswell. I might have spoke too soon. I really like the first 3 picks. Nico, Taylor, Burrow, I really like that. I wouldn't have wanted Travis Kelce. I guess that would be like early round 6 in a normal league. Probably still a bit earlier than I'd want him. DK, that could be really good. Jawan Jennings might be nice to start the year. Tank Bigsby, I wouldn't have really drafted him. It sounds like he's kind of trending down. Probably could have found someone better there. I'm not real big on this team. I like that first 3 punch, and I think DK, even if I don't think he's necessarily, I think he's going to be a good flex option this year. I don't really think he's going to be a wide receiver too. I know he's the number 1 target in that offense, and Aaron Rodgers likes to throw to one guy a shit ton, but I'm not buying it there personally. Yeah, I don't like this team. I don't think it's one of the worst ones, but I definitely think a lot of these teams are better. And now to the team with the last pick in the draft. We got WAP. With pick 14, newcomer to the Keep It About Ball in ZBR universe. His team, he's got
Patrick Mahomes and Cam Ward at cornerback. His running backs are Kenneth Walker, Caleb Johnson, gross, Jaden Blue, and Blake Corum. His receivers, Brian Thomas, A.J. Brown, Jalen Waddle, Matthew Golden, and Kyle Williams. Then at tight end, he's got Colston Loveland, Isaiah Likely. His defense is Kansas City, and his kicker is my boy Jake Bates. Pretty good team. Like the quarterback, I like Pat Mahomes. Like the two receivers he started with. I thought he got Kenneth Walker at a decent enough time. Right, the 4-5 turn in a normal league that would be in the 5th round. I can do that. Caleb Johnson, I didn't like that pick there, but maybe I'm just running scared from the preseason. Jalen Waddle, thought he got good value there. Colston Loveland, we'll see. We know I'm a fuck the Bears kind of guy. Matthew Golden, we'll see. It sounds like a lot of stuff coming out there is like he's going to demand and, really assume an ex-receiver type role, but it's Green Bay, so I'll believe that when I see it. Jadon Blue, really good handcuff for the year, really good rookie handcuff. Got Kyle Williams. Yeah. I don't like his running back depth. I don't know if it's enough to get him through the first week. I definitely think his receiver is enough to get him through the first week. He's got Jalen Waddle at flex, at his first flex spot. I don't know who his second flex spot would be. That it's looking like, I'm not even sure. There goes Ollie Gordon getting added. Who for? That makes perfect sense for Eli Kyle-Maynard. That's the right move there, bud. That is the right move. I'm sacrificing a lot. I'm just in some free agency right now. Not really. I could have just drafted the players. Before I get too distracted, I'll go ahead and get a little distracted and say the take. But I hate that. People like, oh, I missed free agency right after. That's where all the players. I need free agency right after the draft. No, you should have just fucking drafted those players because you're going to have to drop somebody to draft them anyways. You should have just overpaid and not taken the guy that you didn't want. Like, yeah, I don't really feel a lot of pity about that. And a Dynasty League, it's a little different, but a redraft, yeah. All right, but, yeah, that's his team. It's pretty solid. I like the receivers. Running back's not that great. Obviously got Patrick Mahomes, Cam Ward. That's a pretty mid team, I think. Yeah, and I don't know if I think I was saving my team for last, so I'll go over my team. I'll go over my team one last time. Quarterback, Jaden Daniels. Love that. Only quarterback on the roster. We got DeAndre Swift, Tyrone Tracy, Javonte Williams, Isaac Rendo, and Woody Marks for our running backs. I feel like we've got 3 pretty solid dudes, 2 good guys, 2 solid dudes. One kind of, we'll see. He could be pretty solid. He might be ass kind of dude at running back. Then a couple of handcuffs. Receivers, Justin Jefferson, T. Higgins, Devontae Smith, Jacoby Myers, Rashid Shaheed, Demario Douglas, Hollywood Brown. Really happy with the receiver room I'm coming away with, especially. I'm happy with the whole draft, but especially that receiving group. Able to fill out a flex group, I feel like, with it, so I'm happy with that. I can use Javonte as a bench guy and maybe a flex guy if he's good. I don't have to worry about him being good and having to be good. Still no kicker on the roster. Tight end is Zach Ertz, only tight end on the roster, I do believe. Yeah, we didn't draft another one. And then the Steelers defense wanted to get at least a good one for week 1. Yeah, I'm really happy. This is my first Guillotine League draft. I'm feeling pretty happy with it going in. I think I've got a great shot week 1, and yeah. Let's go ahead and kind of get a lay of the land for what's been going on post-draft real quick before we wrap this up. And I'm glad I remembered. We will be doing Pick a Card. We will do Pick a Card. I'm glad I remember that. Jeremy Patton changed his name. I see why he drafted Xavier Leggett. He changed his name to Baguette. I don't know. It's something French, I think. Oh, Lamo, good draft, boys. Yes, sir. In fact. And he says, I wish football started today. Agreed, brother. Agreed. Okay, so Michael Wilson got picked up for Tyler Lockett. That's a good move from Dev there. And Goldfinger Mark was the one that dropped Eli Kyle-Maynard in favor of Ollie Gordon. Good pick there, brother. Honestly, pretty solid draft. I feel like most people did pretty well. And excited to get this Guillotine League going on. Trying to think if I've got anything else I really need to say about it. I don't think so. So let's go ahead. We'll pick a card. Box. This is a lid right here. We're going to pick a card, a random card. I'll look up right here, kind of go up under here. Pull that one right here. All right, we got the NBA from the Pacers. We got Chuck Pearson. Person. Chuck Person. Okay. All right. So this looks to be, I believe, from the year 1992 is when the card. I'm not a big card guy. I think that's the year 1992 is when that came out. Looks like all these years from 1986 to 92 are with the Pacers. Played 82 games that first year with them. Okay. 79 games, 80 games, 77, 80 games, 81. So this guy was a starter. I admittedly don't know who it is. I'm not super great with the classic NBA stuff. Career 48% shooter. Okay. Had a season over 50% as a forward. It doesn't say he's a power forward. It doesn't say if he was like a small forward or anything like that outside. Number 45. He kind of looks like a power forward. Actually, no, he kind of gives me some wing vibes. Maybe like a stretch forward kind of vibe before that existed. I don't really think that was a thing back then. His per 48 though, it looks like, is this on his career? Hey, yo, maybe I'm sleeping on. Okay, so we got some stats here. His per 48 minutes, I don't know if this is career. I'm going to guess it is, and so not just the 92 season, is 20 per 48 minutes, 25.7 points, not bad, and 13.5 rebounds / assists per game. That's a fucking NBA career, honestly. That's not bad. I'm going to read the little about him down here on the bottom. It says, Indiana's leader on the court is also the team's all-time leading NBA scorer. Person reached the 9,000 point mark of his career on April 8th, 1992 against Milwaukee. He was also on the team's most prolific three-point threat. He was also the team's most prolific three-point threat last season, hitting 132 bombs. Very interesting. Do we have a three-point percentage on here? We don't. That's too bad. But okay, very interesting. Really quickly, just because I don't know, when did Reggie Miller play with the Pacers? Like I said, my classic NBA knowledge is not goated. Okay. Does it say his career? They showed it. Okay, there we go. Got the basketball reference up. There we go. Okay, yeah, 88 to 2005. Okay, yeah, I thought so. I thought that was Reggie Miller time. So this guy played with Reggie Miller. Looks like he was a really good option. Play opposite of him. Very cool. Very cool. We're learning. We are learning. Yeah, this is 1992, in fact. So there we go. Chuck Person. You're pull a card player of the episode. Very interesting. But yeah, we got thousands of cards in here. We got probably another few thousand down here of just random dudes, and we're gonna pull some names. I'm gonna do some learning. Maybe you'll do some learning along the way about some of these guys. We'll get it all figured out. But I think we're gonna wrap it up there. Been going for quite a while now. I don't think anyone tuned in for the live here. I don't think I saw anyone pop in, which is cool. I didn't really expect anyone to. But go follow us on Twitter if you're listening to the pod, at Keep It About Ball, so that you can watch these lives and come live chat with me through it. And maybe, hopefully no one did. I'll double check. Yeah, no one did. I was kind of glad I didn't ignore him. Maybe I'll be a little better at it next time and be someone to interact with, and I'll be able to interact as I go. Hopefully going to be doing a pod with the fellas this coming Sunday, and might try to sneak in a little solo pod as well, doing just some quick risers and fallers that are on the sleeper market there. But I think that's going to do it. I'm going to wrap it up there, call it before I ramble on any farther. Thank you, guys. If you did tune in on live at all, or if you go back and watch it, or if you're listening to the pod, subscribe. I do think we are adding ads into the pod. I think we might have some advertising going on there, so pretty excited about that. Go support us. Give us that 5-star review. Like, subscribe, all that good shit. Please, please, please. And yeah, you guys take care. I'll see you soon. Later.
Yeah, you need an initial hole. I don't care if my pants get wet. Where's the lid?
Welcome in to Keep It About Ball, bitch.
Just a splash.
Shitbag lizard people.
My brother's QB2 is Aiden O'Connell.
Fuck Sean Payton.
Actually, when you add up the pick value, when you crunch numbers, who the fuck's Jonathan?